Florida State comes to Clemson this Saturday night, 7 o'clock on the Home Shopping Network. It's that big of a game. No, the ACC Network, 7 o'clock. I couldn't help myself. I really couldn't. Both of these teams are just so, wow, I'll get into that in a second. Who will win this game? I'm going to tell you in just a second. Clemson's a 2.5-point favorite. I will dive into it in a second. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. If you love Clemson football, I hope you'll subscribe. It is free. Pass it along on the forums. Pass it around to your friends on Facebook, etc. I really do appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up. That's free. Also, check out my other channel, Another College Football Podcast. The link is below this video. I talk about college football as a whole over there. So, hope you'll subscribe. Again, that is free as well. Between both of these teams, they have dominated the ACC over the years. Most recently, Clemson is the most dominant with multiple ACC championships from the ACC championship game. But overall, between both of these teams, they have 38 ACC championships. Overall, yeah, that's crazy. And these two teams are two of the most underwhelming teams in all of the ACC. In fact, last night was the first college football playoff bracket. It was revealed the top 4 and then, of course, the top 25. The highest ranked ACC team at this point right now and I know a lot of things are going to change, but to just kind of put this in perspective for you, is the Virginia Cavaliers at number 14. They're 8-1, followed by Louisville at 7-1. They're ranked number 15. You'd have to go down to 17 and 18 to see Georgia Tech and Miami. And then Pittsburgh at number 24. Yeah, it's a different year, but at the same time, Clemson and Florida State is nowhere to even be mentioned. Now, if we go back to the very beginning of the year, we know the hype that Clemson had. We also know that Florida State did something that I think it was one of the most shocking moments of this 2025 college football season. They didn't beat Alabama. They didn't upset Alabama. They absolutely beat the color out of their jerseys. And one of my favorite moments is when the lottery was like over $2 billion. There was an old woman who would I guess she had purchased a lottery ticket. Someone asked her, "Hey, ma'am, if you win, what would you do with this money?" And I said this old woman, but what I mean by, anyway, she said, "I would pay the $70 million buyout of Kalen DeBoer." Yeah. That's exactly right. That's how mad they were at him. Now, Alabama is in the top 4 of the college football playoff, and they look incredible. Florida State fell apart. Now, I hate calling her an old woman. I didn't mean that disrespectful. Elderly woman. Senior. I really do. Anyway, I doubt she'll see it, but I didn't mean that disrespectful. With that said, Florida State fell apart. They lost 4 games in a row. We could go through that, but it really doesn't matter. But at least they have one bright spot. One bright spot. And that is beating Alabama. Now, this past weekend, they played Wake Forest, and Wake Forest has been doing all right this year under their first-year head coach. And they just beat them 42-7. Now, this is a 5-3 Wake Forest team. They're 2-3 in the conference, but they are 5-3. Give them some love, okay? Florida State beat them 42-7. Let's flip around and look at our Clemson Tigers. They're 3-5. They're 2-4 in the ACC with their only wins in conference against Boston College and North Carolina, the bottom feeders of the conference. They beat Troy after, well, we know what happened there. And in their last 6 games at home, Clemson, and this is going all the way back to the South Carolina game last year, Clemson is 1-5 in Death Valley. So home field advantage really doesn't matter. Right now, Clemson's a 2.5-point favorite. Clemson was favored last weekend over Duke. They lost that ball game. They were favored over SMU. They lost that ball game. They were favored over Syracuse by 17 points. They got drug that ball game. They were favored over Georgia Tech. They lost that ball game. And if my memory serves me correct, they were even favored over LSU. You know, the biggest game of the year, marquee. People were paying outrageous prices for tickets to go to this massive game. And now LSU, they love the results so much of their season so far, they fired their coach. Yeah, every time you think it can't get worse for Clemson, it does. When it rains, it pours. And in this sense, we're sitting in a Category 5 hurricane for the Clemson Tigers. And to hit a little more on history, both of these teams have multiple national championships. But the coaching staff for both of those teams, is basically gone, totally gone for Florida State. If you want to find Jimbo Fisher, he's no longer in coaching. He's comfortably nestled in a commentator's seat on the ACC network. He's still counting all his money from A&M. Trust me, that man lost, but he still won. On Clemson's sideline, of course, you have one familiar face, Dabo Swinney, a man who ascended to the mountain and held 2 national championships. You can't take that away from him. He did what most coaches can't even do once. He did it twice. But if you look over on his sideline, you see him, and then you see Mike Reed. And I'm talking about at a coaching position. Those are the only 2 coaches left off that championship run. Things are grim. Even when they run down the hill, it's more like a brisk walk. The sidelines looks like a gathering at a funeral home where Aunt Ida just finally went home to be with the Lord after a battle with gout. Yeah, they are that depressed. And when he was chewing out the defense this past Saturday, they didn't look enthused. They didn't even look like they cared for the most part. It was just like, okay. When's that transfer portal open back up? Yeah, I think I'm going to go make bag. Remember, Makuba did that. Clemson looks lost. Florida State looks kind of lost. This game is not the game that we're used to. This game is not the game that either one of these teams are used to. Now, Florida State, let's talk about them for a moment. We know that in 22 and in 23, they had 10-plus wins. They won the ACC championship the first time in a very long time in 2023. But after that and before those 2 seasons, Florida State hasn't looked like Florida State. One of my favorite games of all time in college football, because remember, I love college football as a whole. Some of you just like Clemson. You don't pay attention, and that's fine. I don't blame you. But I love college football. One of the games I watch all the time, 1993, Florida State at Notre Dame. It was dubbed the game of the century. Eventually Heisman winner, Charlie Ward was playing quarterback. It was a magical game. If you even watch, and you can find the game on YouTube, the production for that game by NBC was unbelievable. Bob Costas was announcing the game, and he did the pregame, and it was awesome. It's what college football should be. That team's not playing at Clemson this coming Saturday night. They're not. And those teams from 16 and 18 and in that area, that's not playing for Clemson this Saturday night. 2 shells of history are playing Saturday night. To remind you my definition of a shell of history, they have the same team logo, same mascot, same fight song, mostly the same jersey. You could even have some of the same coaching staff. But they're nothing like they were. They're not dominant. They lose games that used to it would be out of the realm of possibility for them to lose. Used to it would be out of the realm of possibility of losing at home. But now that's common. Both of these teams are truly a shell of history. The Rock has a bunch of cracks in it. And that is sad. You can fire the cannon all you want to when Clemson scores, but it seems like they're firing blanks. Clemson is struggling, and so is Florida State. Have I made my point yet? Now, let's go take a look at the current teams right now. Tommy Castellanos, a guy who transferred out of Central Florida to Boston College, and then now he's at Florida State. This guy is hobbling right now. He's not 100%, but Kevin Jennings was not 100% against Clemson and still won. So there's that. He's passed for 1,878 yards, 10 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns. On the other side, you have Cade Klubnik. He's missed one game due to injury. He had a pretty solid game this past week against Duke. It's just our defense couldn't, stop anything. Klubnik, 160 of 238, 13 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 1,915 yards, if I haven't said that already. Now, Salchuk is their leading rusher for the Seminoles, 432 yards, 8 touchdowns. Adam Randall, 522 on the ground, 101 carries, 6 touchdowns. Deuce Robinson, the transfer out of Southern Cal. This guy, 34 receptions, 4 touchdowns, 689. We know that Clemson's leading wide receiver is still Bryant Wesco, with him missing the games that he's missed. But here's the thing. He's done for the season. We know about the neck injury. Hope he gets better. He's still the leading receiver at 537. After him, you're looking at guys like Antonio Williams. I was glad to see him have a really good game this past week. TJ Moore, Tristan Smith, Tyler Brown, etc. Now, Will Helt has been holding at 4 sacks on this season. That number's been there for a bit. On the other side, I'm butchering his name, Mandrell Desire. I think it's Desire. 3 sacks. Also, Earl Little. I think he's a transfer out of Alabama. That's all right off the top of my head. 52 tackles, leading tackler. Clemson's leading tackler is none other than Sammy Brown with 58. Malzahn is coming into this game as the OC for Florida State, and he normally does pretty well in big games. Now, on paper, this looks like a big game. We know it's not a big game. But I think that you're going to see him potentially open up the playbook. Now, if Castellanos can stay healthy, given that he is a little banged up, what I mean by that is he doesn't end up going out of the game, or he gets hit so hard that though he's in the game, he's basically taken out of the game. I really see them attacking Clemson's defense. Clemson's defense is so poor right now, and it just continues to get worse. Busted coverages, missed assignments, one guy who's fulfilling his assignment while another guy is not. Well, it makes both guys look bad. So, with that said, if Duke can do that to you, Florida State can definitely do it to you. Don't allow their record to fool you. They still just hammered Wake Forest, who's been doing a lot better this season, and they did beat Alabama. Yes, I know in the very first game of the year, but they have that capability. So if they can do that and get up for the big game, they can definitely beat this Clemson Tiger team, whose defense is just unfortunately non-existent. Let's talk about Clemson's offense against Florida State's defense. Florida State's defense, well, they're non-existent as well. That's kind of the equaling factor here. That Florida State gave up 38 points to Virginia. They gave up 28 points to Miami. At one time, that was a near blowout. Florida State's offense came back and made it look close, but it was like 28-6 or something like that. Very, very, like in the late third quarter, fourth quarter. They gave up 34 points to Pitt. So their defense is not amazing. Their defense struggles. So if you want to watch normally it's like, if you want to watch a defensive battle, you'd watch this game or that game. If you want to watch two defenses that can't stop anything, you need to watch this game. Florida State's defense is bad. Clemson's defense, bad. It's awful. And every time you think it can't get worse, good grief, it does. It does. So that could be the very thing that allows both of these teams to potentially stay in the game for a long period of time, and it come down to the very last possession. That's what I see. I see that both of these teams have the ability to stick around due to their offense. Now, if you look at Florida State, I want to say this about Florida State. If you look at Florida State for total defense, shockingly, they are ranked in the top. They're ranked number 26 in the country. So I know someone's going to go, hey, they're only giving up 317 yards per game total. Let's look at points per game. They've given up a lot. So we have that. What are the keys to this game? If Tommy Castellanos can move just enough and they take advantage of Clemson's busted coverage, they're going to have busted coverage. If you're at this point of the season and you still have busted coverage, if you're at this point of the season, Clemson, and you're 3-5, you're going into game number 9 out of 12, and we have seen busted coverage after busted coverage. We've seen poor tackling left and right. We've seen confusion on your assignment. I'm sorry, Sunshine Clemson fans, you're not going to figure it out in game number 9. You're not. History, which matters, says that they can't. History says that the development and even potentially just the X's and O's of football, the ABCs, the fundamentals, Clemson, especially on the defense, cannot fulfill it. Clemson can't. So while some of you are over there having faith, like, well, you would have faith when someone's terminally ill, which that doesn't make sense why you would have it in a football team when all you have to do is develop your players and buckle down on the fundamentals. You don't need hope and prayers here. You need that when someone's sick or when something bad happens. Here, you need the fundamentals. You need development. You need following assignments. And in this scenario, Clemson doesn't have that. And they haven't had that in a while. You can get mad at Tom Allen, say he's terrible. This would be one of the very few times in his career that he's looked bad. So I would pump the brakes on taking a shot at that man. Just like some of you need to pump the brakes on taking a shot at Matt Luke. Matt Luke is a genius. That should tell you he's had an incredible product that he's outputted throughout the years, and he gets to Clemson and it looks bad. I think that should tell you where we're at as a program. So pump the brakes there. Clemson's defense cannot cover receivers. And Deuce Robinson is a big old dude, 6'6", and he can play. They're going to have a problem with him. They're going to have a problem with their other receivers. They're going to have a problem in coverage. There's going to be busted coverage. On the other hand, can Clemson line up and blow Florida State off the ball? Potentially. Can Clemson continue to take some shots down the field that we have seen them take? Potentially. I'd like to see Clemson get the tight end more involved because Bettencourt is really good. Don't know if you've ever noticed that or not. But at the end of the day, here's my prediction. Clemson has been favored in almost every game they've played this year. In fact, if my memory serves me correct, they have been favored in every game leading up to this. All 8 football games that they've played this year, they were favored. They've won only 3 of them. 2 against the bottom feeders of the ACC, 1 against Troy. And Florida State's had a few bright spots. 1, obviously beating Alabama, and then beating the crap out of Wake Forest coming into this game. Maybe they're hitting on something. They're 1-4 in the ACC. Yeah, I know it's bad, but I'm going to tell you this. They show more something, whatever that something is, coming into this game. Clemson being in at home doesn't matter. Being favored doesn't matter. Playing at night against Florida State doesn't matter. So much that should logically matter does not matter. I see Florida State winning this game in Death Valley. That would improve them to 5-4 overall, 2-4 in the ACC. That would drop Clemson to 3-6 overall, 2-5 in the ACC. And it would just be more of the same of this 2025 season. Drop in the comments section, what do you think is going to happen this coming Saturday night? How do you see the Tigers faring? Remember, they are 1-5 in their last 6 home games. This would make them 1-6 out of their last 7 home games. I'm going to quickly get into the comments section here. Terry Dabo said Clemson was in cover 2 robber on that 60-yard tight end pass Duke hit in the 4th quarter, but when you watch the play, defensive backs didn't execute it that way. Yeah. Clemson Addict. Hi there, Brian. Good to see you. John Answers. Good to see you. Tim Bro. What's up, B? Hey, to Benji. Good to see you, Benji. My old buddy. Good to see you, dude. Benjamin Dover. Good to see you. Finally caught you live. Been meaning to comment from several videos ago. You mentioned how honored you were to have us watch you, but the feeling goes both ways, even our time of bad football. Thanks, Chase. I really do appreciate that, bro. Getting all coffeeed up here. Big Kev. Good to see you, my man. Mia Pop-Tarts, go Knowles, good to see you. Be Real in the house, good to see you. Noah Denton. Derek, let's get rolling. Jonathan, I got to call you back, dude. Long story short, I went out of town. I'll tell you later. Anyway, good to see you, buddy. My old buddy, talented drummer, Jonathan Emery in here. Good to see you, my friend. SC Turkey Time gets beat by 3 touchdowns. I don't see that, but I see Florida State winning. FSU has played better at times, but Clemson is the more talented team. Hard game to call. You know, Clemson has had a lot of talent. A lot of people has been dogging the talent on this team, going, "Oh, they don't have the dogs." I think the dogs have been muzzled by poor development, and I think that that's something that the Clemson community needs to accept. It's hard to pour into someone if you're still growing as a coach, but you've been. I'm not even going there. All I'm going to say is the dogs have been muzzled. Clemson has the dogs. They've been muzzled. Good to see you, my man. Hate to say it, but reality is reality. FSU winning. I will be at the Air Show and Hanger Dance in Monroe, North Carolina for Saturday, but go Tigers. I think it will be bad for us. Who's to say that the offense even shows up? Can't rely on the defense to keep us in it. Good to see you, Tim. Good to see you, buddy. Folks, that's what everyone is saying. Hey, listen, if you love Clemson football, hope you'll subscribe. It's free. The channel is a little over 3 years old, and it's, you know what, I appreciate everyone being here, everyone who's subscribed. Pass this along. That's the only way the channel grows. If you like what I'm doing, hope you'll do that. You'll pass along to your friends and neighbors, pass along on Facebook, in the forums, and so on. And yeah, point everyone over here. It's free, by the way. Hit the thumbs up. That helps in the algorithm. Also, another college football podcast. That's my other channel. The link is below this video in the description. Go check it out. I've got to get some videos up for this week. We got some big games going on this week. We have some really big games that are going on this week. You have BYU and Texas Tech, 8-0, 8-1. That's the 12 o'clock ABC game. Iowa at Penn State, that will be really interesting. Indiana at Penn State. I think Indiana is going to beat them senseless. I mean, senseless. LSU and Alabama, that's the 7:30 ABC game. It just shows you how, on paper, it's a big matchup, but we know that Alabama is going to walk them like dogs. You have Navy 7-1 and playing against Notre Dame, who's number 10 in the country, 6-2. They're ripping off 6 consecutive wins. That's interesting. You have Louisville and Cal playing this Saturday. Remember, Clemson and Louisville plays next Friday. So it's going to be a short week for both of them. It's very interesting to see how this is going to work out. I see Georgia at Mississippi State as a potential upset special. Mississippi State, they're playing close. They're going to get one of these teams. And so I see that happening there, but I cover stuff like that on my other channel. Well, folks, y'all take care of yourself. Pass this along. I appreciate you being here. And as always, go Tigers.